On this edition of the Roundball Report, we will recap the week in March Madness for the NCAA men and women, and recap the week in the NBA for the Washington Wizards and the rest of the league as we speak with our very own Kelsey Nelson of the Roundball Report and Lexter Taylor of HSRN. So sit back, relax, get ready for your weekly dose of serious hoop talk because the Roundball Report is next.
Come up with a family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Hello, I'm Andrew Dyer, and welcome to another edition of the Roundball Report, the only show in the area dedicated to highlighting the excellence of the high school, college, and professional basketball teams which play in the Washington metropolitan area. And here with me again is my co-host, former Sidwell Friends and Duke University star Coach Janae Hayes.
Hello, hello.
Welcome back. Janae, we're in the middle of March Madness, and it's been a positive jump to the Big Ten for the Terps for the men and the women.
It absolutely has. I mean, it's been exciting. It seems as though the season just started a couple of weeks ago, and here we are at March Madness. I can remember my own time during March Madness, and you know, the butterflies you feel in your stomach as you're awaiting your seeding, things like that. So I can just imagine what the Maryland Terps are going through at this point in time. And here to discuss March Madness with us is Kelsey Nelson and Lexter. And Kelsey, I know that you love Maryland, so you have to be proud of the program in general. You can't say just men or women, because right now the women have absolutely run through the Big Ten, being regular season and tournament champs. And the men are doing quite well themselves as they've catapulted themselves, I think, up to the top 10 in the AP polls this week.
Yeah, it's been so exciting. I actually went to campus earlier just because I was so excited. I mean, obviously, like you said, we have both the women's and men's team both winning huge yesterday, and especially for the females. I mean, it was huge. I think Kevin Anderson probably went from like the most unpopular person when he first made the Big Ten move to probably now one of the most popular people in the nation, just because of what Maryland said. And now Maryland is probably a household name in the basketball tournament. I'm sure when brackets come, people will be putting Maryland on their brackets very far, obviously, because of what they did. And like you said, it's been tremendous. And both coaches got Big Ten Coaches of the Year, so for the program, it's been a huge, huge plus.
And for the women, they, like you said, they won, what, 24 in a row?
21 in the conference.
Yeah, and they captured the championship, and they are on the cusp of getting a #1 seed in their bracket, and they're going to play the first 2 games at the Xfinity Center.
Right, and of course I will definitely be there if they do. But that would obviously be huge for Maryland. Anybody wants to play at home. But what the Maryland girls have done has been just tremendous. I mean, Lexi Brown in itself, she's amazing. She's really helped the team. But really, I could literally name the whole roster because everybody came up big yesterday. Brianna Jones, Melina Howard, Lauren Mincy. I mean, everybody showed up, and I think that's what Brenda Freese really wanted, that teamwork aspect, and that's why I think they'll go far in the tournament.
How much do you think of that is attributed to players just playing within themselves, or playing, you know,
their roles,
or attribute to their coaching? Some players play for their coaches because their coaches just give it their all, so they're willing to literally run through a brick wall for their coach.
Right. First of all, I would say who doesn't love Brenda Freese? I mean, even if you're not a Maryland fan, you love Brenda Freese, and I think that's why she's done so well at her job. So I think it's a combination. I think obviously they're playing for their coach, but also you can see their passion, their chemistry when they play, and you can tell no one's selfish. They all know their strengths, they all know their weaknesses. Like when I was watching the Maryland game, at first they did kind of struggle when they were doing the spread, and eventually Maryland got that, and when they began to attack the boards, Maryland got stronger, the girls got stronger, and I think that was kind of playing off Brenda Freese, but also they saw where they were struggling, and also as a team they all got together and figured that out, and especially to have someone as young as Lexi leading that, it's amazing to watch.
Right, and Lexter Taylor is with us over telephone, and Lexter, the true word to embody the Maryland group of young ladies is a team. I mean, they've got 4 players averaging over 13 points a game. Anyone can show up at any given night, and it was a team against one incredible player with Ohio State who had an incredible tournament. She came just 3 points short, and actually a couple inches short in that last shot to tie it, but it was the victory over team over superstar.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you allow somebody, I guess Mitchell scored 31 points. You know, it's a situation where, you know, Maryland's playing team ball, so it's just one of those type deals, man. This is like their year. I mean, they went through the Big Ten this year and just dominated everybody. I don't think that's ever been done, especially not at Maryland. I just hope when they do these brackets that they don't put Maryland on the same side with UConn.
Right. Yeah, because if they're a number one seed, they wouldn't see them until the Final Four anyway.
Right,
so that's
right.
the one good thing. That's the one good thing about that. And
Yeah,
go ahead, Lexter.
Yeah, I'm just saying, don't put them on the side with UConn. I know they're going to be a number one seed, but at least let them see UConn in the championship game in the final seed.
Right. And one other thing that comes across, Kelsey, talking about Lexi Brown, Kelsey, is that you can see the team genuinely likes one another. It kind of reminds me of the Kentucky team in that she has a lot of high school All-Americans, but they bought into what's best for the team. I mean, because you see somebody like Brene Mosley, I mean, she had an incredible game against Northwestern, but yet when it came to the tournament, she was like the fourth or fifth guard she went to, but when she went to her, she was ready and did her thing. It's just everybody's bought into the team role, and that has to be a testament to the coach.
Right. Obviously, Brenda Freese knows what people are good at and how to bring those strengths to work as a team. Because, right, you don't want that, like, Kobe-type player, you know, where it's all on them.
Wait, Kelsey, what was that player again? Say it a little bit louder for
Just
me.
relax. I'll say the Kobe type of player.
Kobe-type player. Okay, sorry. Continue.
But obviously, it's working towards their strengths. And it's like you said, it's nice seeing that evolve. And yesterday, I mean, just seeing them all go around. I mean, Lexi obviously had a great game, but they literally all showed up, which is what Brenda Freese wants, obviously. And she wants to continue to build on the program, especially having one senior this year. Like, that should be scary to all the teams watching Maryland's women's basketball team, because they're all going to be back.
And she's got another good recruiting class coming in. And on the men's side of the house, Lexter, this team just continues to surprise the naysayers. They've closed out the Big Ten with 2 road victories, ended up with a winning record in the Big Ten on the road, and undefeated at home, went 14-4 in their inaugural season in the Big Ten. Des Wells made the first team by the coaches. Mello Trimble made the first team by the media. And Coach Turgeon got the Coach of the Year. So I could say that they definitely took the Big Ten by storm this year.
They definitely took the Big Ten by storm, and it looks like they'll be, the second seed in the Big Ten, I guess the Big Ten tournament. And to be honest with you, I think if State is the number 2, are they going to be a number 2 seed? And then, again, we go back to the seedings. Hopefully they won't be in the bracket with Kentucky. But Maryland has done a tremendous job this year. I mean, they right now look like a Final Four team. I mean, can you imagine if the brackets come out and you got Georgetown as like a 6 seed and Duke or Virginia as a 1 seed and Maryland as a 2 seed in the East? I mean, that would be great, especially in this area. That would be great basketball, great theater.
And they've done that in the past, where they'll put Maryland and they just so happen that Maryland and Georgetown or Maryland and Duke. Now they can do it since Maryland isn't in the ACC anymore. They can try to set up. Oh, by the way, Maryland's going to play Duke in the round of 16.
Relive old rivalries.
It would be a great thing.
I mean, in the beginning of the year, all we talked about was the emergence of this super freshman, Mello Trimble. But once Des Wells got healthy, he showed that he was the reason why he was on the cover of the media guide. He closed with a bang, had an incredible February, and is continuing that on into March.
Right. I think obviously Mello and Des, when you pair them together, they're pretty much like unstoppable. I almost want to compare them to like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, because that's what they seem like together. And obviously, I mean, this is very emotional for me even watching Des on his senior night. You can tell like he wants this bad, and he's trying to go out with a bang. And even his leadership skills, watching him yesterday, he was coaching DeMonte Dodd, and I was like, when he's scoring, he's coaching. He was doing everything. And obviously, Mello's even being considered for Player of the Year and NBA like hopes and stuff like that. So it's been exciting watching those two, but really also just how those two have led the team, helping Jake Layman to show up. Jared Nickens, like literally the whole team is coming together, and I think that's again why Mark Turgeon also got the Big Ten coach.
And they're another team, Lexter, just like the ladies, where they literally only have one senior. Des Wells is the only senior that really is in the rotation for Maryland, so the future is very bright. But you could see he's leading with that fire, hey, this is my last opportunity, but he's leading in a positive way to get his guys to step to the plate, and is not leading in a negative way or putting too much pressure on them. He's encouraging them and getting the desired results.
Well, I think the next 3 to 4 weeks, if possible, for Des, it's going to be huge for his stock. his NBA stock. I mean, if he has a run through the Big Ten tournament where he's just, unstoppable, and then, they go into the NCAA tournament, him and Melo, they run a 3-4 straight games, get to the Elite Eight or even the Final Four, Dez's stock will go up. Everyone knows that all the scouts, everyone's eyes will be on, on the college March Madness, selection Sunday is this coming Sunday. So it'll be really interesting for Dez because this is a very important, next few weeks for his basketball future, in my opinion.
Right, and Kelsey, we've seen guys like Kemba Walker did that for UConn, Shabazz Napier did it last year. Guys coming into the season were viewed as second round at best, but they had incredible runs to the NCAA tournament, end up with NCAA championships. Not saying that Maryland can do that, but Dez Wells is a type of player. You definitely can see his game translates to the next level.
Right, and I think obviously we've seen him grow since he has been at Maryland, and he's really found himself, I think, and that's why I think he loves the school so much, and he's been openly expressing that, how much his transferring to Maryland has made a difference to him, and that's why I think now everybody knows the name Dez Wells. And as he said, in the NBA, I mean, I would look out for him too, obviously, because like you said, he's trying to increase his stock. But Dez has been a tremendous leader, and I know Mark Turgeon really appreciates that on the court and off the court.
Well, the Terps are the #2 seed in the Big Ten tournament. It's going to take place in Chicago this week. We're going to cheer them on, and hopefully they do well. And they next week will be Selection Sunday, and we'll see where they get paired. But another local team that's going to be in that seeding is Georgetown. And Georgetown had quite a story over the weekend. As I guess his name was Tyler Adams, senior, who had a heart ailment for 4 games into his career, had to stop playing, has been like a player coach. They got an exception from the NCAA to allow him to suit up for possession and got the other team to buy in. Who sees that at the Division I level?
Well, the last time you saw it was UConn when they wanted to get, what was her name?
Oh, yeah,
Nikisha Sales.
Nikisha Sales.
To get her to score.
When she was hurt.
Yeah, her 2,000 point or something like that.
Points. Yeah.
But you typically don't see that, especially at high level basketball. So to get both, well, one for the coach, for Georgetown's coach to say, this is what we want to do, I think that was a testament just to his integrity. And then for the other team to buy into it, that's a testament to their integrity and their coaching and their home, they're raising, because at this level it gets so competitive. No one wants to give anyone an edge, but a lot of times you have to realize that it's bigger than basketball.
Right.
And these are the nice instances where you get an opportunity to see that it is bigger than basketball. Basketball is a short span of your life. You try to do the best you can with it, but then after that you're on to the next thing.
And that made a moment that's going to last a lifetime for that young man. They gave him a chance to get a dunk on the opening tip.
Right.
He said then he went back to the bench. He wanted to play some more. But it was quite a story. But on the court, Lexter, Georgetown ended up winning their last two games to finish up high in the Big East standings, and I think Devontae Smith-Rivera made first team all Big East, so they're going to be making some noise as well.
Yeah, and I was actually at that last game and a little disappointed because I didn't get to see Smith-Rivera play. He was sitting on the sideline in a suit dressed like Odell Beckham Jr. with that new fresh haircut and everything. But, Georgetown looked really good, in my opinion. Seton Hall battled them, but Georgetown did a really good job, and I think they're a very dangerous team. I mean, they swept Butler during the regular season. Villanova is always going to be tough, but I think if Georgetown can get a good run, maybe get to the semifinals and the finals, I think Georgetown, could be a team that could make it to the Sweet 16 this year.
Right, and of course elsewhere locally, Virginia, they had a hiccup over the weekend, but they won the ACC regular season. But we got to give some love to Duke. They swept North Carolina. And they're on the verge of getting a #1 seed again.
And we don't want to dismiss, I believe GW got
the women.
The women
yeah.
Got their ticket stamped too.
Yes, they won the Atlantic 10 regular season, and they won the conference tournament. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of great things going.
Great time to be from this area.
It is.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that much good basketball collectively in a while.
And Taylor Brown, a young lady who played at McNamara, we had her on the show when she was just a little kid. She led the Atlantic 10 in scoring. scoring, but only made second team all conference because her team didn't do that well. But got to give a shout out to Taylor, and she's got one more year left, so hopefully they'll get her first team
Go
next
on a
year.
rampage.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do our college wrap up. You can look forward for more coverage of March Madness on future shows, but we're going to go to a break right now and come back with a feature on the Wizards contest against the Heat, where they almost had a historic collapse. And we'll recap the week in the NBA for the Wizards and the rest of the NBA with Kelsey Nelson and Lexter Taylor after this. So stay with us.
I think it's important for young people to have a mentor. A mentor could be a regular, everyday person. It's just somebody there to help the child.
Knowing I've had an influence in Chad makes me feel great. By having a mentor, he has someone to bounce ideas off of. He has someone to also challenge him and help him see a vision for the future.
What you'll get out of it is just the satisfaction of knowing that you've helped somebody. Mentoring works.
Become a mentor.
Coming off of a loss to the Chicago Bulls, the Washington Wizards look to rebound tonight versus the Miami Heat. At 34-27, they could use a really big win. As Coach Whitman says, it's time for this team to play all 48 minutes. We'll have more from the Roundball report.
Once we started getting it going, Bill Walker, Napier had a tremendous second half. You know, getting them going with them three threes, kind of to open up the third quarter. And I think they made defensive plays. The guy Tyler Johnson, his energy on the glass, getting offensive rebounds, even getting the tip off a on Beasley's missed layup. They were just making plays on the stretch and had a will to win. Like I said, we didn't check out; they just checked in.
17 turnovers. What did they do defensively? What was missing offensively from you guys?
Well, they did a great job of not letting us come off the side pick and roll and get into the paint. And even when we got in the paint, we tried to make the extra pass, and they were denying and just putting defensive pressure on us. And I've seen multiple times where we were trying to run plays in the back of our heels and turn our back trying to run a play. And that's whenever you're doing that, your offense is going to be real uncomfortable. And if we do get a shot, it's not going to be a comfortable shot. So you got to create the defense.
I don't think so. I just try to play my game, put as much energy I can and just leave my heart out there. That's it.
Well, it was a sellout crowd here at the Verizon Center as the Washington Wizards pulled off a nail-biting win over the Miami Heat, beating them 99-97. They blew a 35-point lead, letting the Heat within one with just seconds to go in the game. They lagged on defense and committed 15 of their 17 turnovers in the second half. But as Coach Whitman says, a win is a win, and he's not giving it back. From the Verizon Center, I'm Shannon Cross. Back to you in the studio.
Great job, Shannon. And, a win is a win. However, when you give up a 35-point lead, that's...
With 7 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. And the Wizards are not clicking on any cylinders at this point in time. I believe they lost the last 8 of 10 games, 13 of the last 17, 8 of 10 at home. Oh, no, of the last 10 games, they've lost 8 of them. Of the last 17 games, they've lost 13.
And
so
7 in a row on the road.
And 7 in a row on the road. So there has to be some type of, I hear people calling for the coach's head, and I hate to say that because I don't know who the onus falls on. But there needs to be a change because right now they're in the 5th seed. They can very well drop to the 6th seed, and right now, if the championship, the NBA playoffs were to start, they would face Toronto first round, which means it'd be a first round exit immediately.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Toronto's struggling right now too, but they're
not struggling like we are. So, Lexter, what do you think about these Wizards? I can't even go to another team right now because we need to discuss what it's going to take for the Wizards to become a respectable team again.
Well, I'm disappointed. You read those stats. They're 2-8 in their last 10 games, and for me, losing the last game to Milwaukee, one of the teams that's like below you right now. You're number 5. Milwaukee's like number 6, and then you lose to a Milwaukee team. They got a guy named Chris, and his name begins with a K. And this guy never heard of him. He scores 30 points on you. So I'm confused with what's going on with the Wizards right now. They've got a stretch of games coming up. They got Charlotte, they've got Portland, they got Memphis coming up, and then a West Coast stretch. I don't know what's going on with them. I know Cleveland has leapfrogged them, and they're at number 2. And I know Indiana and Miami and Charlotte are like right on their tail, along with Milwaukee. So I really don't know. I'm really disappointed with the Wizards this year. They do need to shake some things up. Maybe they need to let the coach go, but they need to do something because this is ridiculous.
And Kelsey, like you said, this is the time of the year we're supposed to kick it into the next gear. I mean, they had an awesome start. I guess they started struggling before the All-Star break, and they felt like Andre Miller was the problem. They traded him, and things are still the same. And now they're saying is the bevy of injuries that John has been playing through are having an impact on it. It sounds like excuses to me, but I think it's too late in the game to try to change the captain at this point. You're not going to come. You can't bring somebody else from the outside because it's too late to change everything around. None of his assistants are ready to step up to the plate. So I think that's just to me that's just idle chatter on the sideline. But you were down there. What was the vibe like when you were down there? Do you think that they're headed in the right direction?
I mean, I think you can see it in the fans. For one, that's why the seats aren't always going to be full, and there'll always be that low shot camera angle for the Wizards. And I'm a Wizards fan. I feel so bad saying that. But I mean, it feels like the Wizards season since January has literally been. I almost want to take it back to like the Tower of Terror ride at Disney, and it just seems like it keeps going down. And I don't know how many times it's going to go down. And it's really sad because, like you said, they started so promising. I was really excited. But now it's like, where are the Wizards team that we saw starting off? And as he said, all the other teams are starting to catch up, and that's a problem. And I don't know if it's the coach, the players. Everyone likes to point fingers, but I think everyone needs to take responsibility and say, me to step up because this area, like, we're so excited. We were so excited, and now what the Wizards have been doing has just been really disappointing.
And Lexer, your partner in crime, Jimmy Fly, was with you last week, and he was reading off the stats that it's all about when they go inside out, they have a chance to win. When they try to play perimeter, then they don't have a chance to win. Do you think it's that simple?
No, I think in this particular case, you can throw them stats out the window. I think it's in their head right now.
So you're a Charles Barkley with the analytics?
I'm just saying. I mean, you throw those stats out the window, man. It's mental right now for them. Yeah. I mean, you lose to Minnesota by 20 points. You come back from the All-Star game and you lose by 30 to Cleveland. It's something going on with those guys. I don't know what it is. I mean, but John Wall's an All-Star. He's got to play through these injuries. And the rest of these guys, they've got to act like they really want to be a legitimate team in the Eastern Conference. Start of the season, we were picking them to go to the finals, Eastern Conference finals.
Well, they were playing like it.
Yeah, but right now they might not even make the playoffs on the road they're on right now.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, fortunately, they're so far above 500. They're about 7 or 8 above. They would have to take a total. It would have to be a total collapse.
And in the Eastern Conference, as long as you're above 500,
right? You could be a 7. You could be 6 or 7. The 8th slot will probably be a team under 500, right. Which is why Miami is still in the race. But let's try to.
And here's where I am, because I've been looking at it. I think all of us have been trying to analyze the problem, and I absolutely hate, maybe this is because I'm a coach now, when you blame the coach, because as an athlete, especially as a professional athlete, you have to play with a sense of pride, not to mention the millions that you're getting paid for it. I understand being fatigued. I understand being injured, but I also understand that every time I walk out on the court, I'm representing the name on the front, but more importantly, I'm representing the name on the back. So I don't want to be the laughing stock. Like, I think, what was the team that said 6 weeks to go? Was it the Nuggets? I think it was the Nuggets when they won or something. It was like 6 weeks to go, meaning 6 weeks left in the season. You should be embarrassed as a professional athlete to have that spew from your lips. Every time that you're out on the court, it's a representation of yourself, even if you don't want to think about the organization or your teammates. Make it personal. You're selfish about everything else. Make it about you.
Right. Well, while we've been seeing this collapse up close and personal, and it hurts because, like you said, I mean, when you cover the team, I grew up as a Bullet/Wizards fan. When you see them right on the cusp, and the East is just up there for taking, and to see them just letting it go away, but you see teams like Cleveland hitting their stride. I mean, they made some very significant moves, and LeBron took his week's rest. Maybe John needs to take a week off and get rejuvenated like LeBron did.
Didn't they lose 10 more games?
Even more.
But Toronto's been struggling. They've lost 8 out of 9. Atlanta, they hit a little hiccup for them. They lost like 2 out of 4.
Right.
and then went on a continued winning streak. So as it's looking right now, what it looked like it was a battle of the top 4 or 5 teams right now is shaping up between Atlanta and Cleveland, because with the injuries that they've beset Chicago with Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler, they're not looking like they're the same team that they were either.
Right. Like you said, the conference as a whole is struggling. And I mean, obviously for the Wizards, that's helping them. Because right now, when they're doing bad, kind of everybody else is doing bad. But like you said, I mean, Cleveland has stepped up to the challenge. And now I think all the fans and everyone in this area are waiting for the Wizards to step up. And as you said, stop blaming each other and just take responsibility and be the team that we know you can be and be the team that you were at the beginning of this season.
Now, Lexter, moving it out west, we got to talk about Russell Westbrook. I mean, this guy took his All-Star Game MVP and has continued to be on a tear. Even with he's the masked bandit right now. What, 4 straight triple doubles, and this guy has jumped into the MVP race and might be ahead of it right now.
He's averaging a triple double.
It's really funny because 3 years ago, Westbrook, they were having a conversation about Westbrook and Derrick Rose, and their stats were very similar, but everyone was saying Westbrook was a knucklehead. He took too many shots, and they need to trade him and all this kind of stuff. 3 years later, Westbrook is better than Derrick Rose, and he is really making a great argument that he could supplant Durant as the #1 guy in OKC. Sounds crazy, but Durant has been injured, twice now, and he could be in sort of a decline. And Westbrook right now is on fire. I mean, he's unstoppable. I mean, he's the most explosive player, I think, in the NBA right now, and I wish he was a free agent this year. That's all I'm saying. I wish he was a free agent this year.
As opposed to KD in 16, we want Russell Westbrook.
I'm not saying the Wizards. You know what my head is. I'm not talking about the Wizards. Westbrook is from the West Coast. So I would love for him to don a purple and gold uniform.
Oh, we see. Now you had to throw the Lakers in there. You knew the clock. I don't know how you were able to see it from the telephone, but they're giving us the hard rap, so I can't follow up with that. Great job, Kelsey. Hope you get a chance to follow the Lady Terps when they're playing NCAA tournament. We're going to give you, and great job, Lexter. That's going to do it for this edition. I know you enjoyed it. It was informative and action-packed, and you look forward for more coverage of March Madness for men and women, the special features and interviews with players and coaches from the high school, college, and professional basketball teams in the metropolitan area on future shows.
And remember, if it's happening on the court, we will definitely be around the ball. For all of your aspiring hoop stars out there, remember that getting your education is the first step to making those basketball dreams come true. So until next time, I'm Janae Hayes.
And I'm Andrew Dyer for the Roundball Report. Good night.
No more pencils, no more books. No more teachers' dirty looks. School's out for summer. School's out forever. School's out with fever. School's out completely.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%. And it can happen in every place.
School's out for summer.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
Sergeant Michelle Garcia served meritoriously in Iraq and has the medals to prove it. Soon after leaving the Navy, Lieutenant Chris Scott found a job, a home, and started a family of his own. Corpsman Richard Stokely took the skills he learned in Vietnam and put them to good use as a paramedic. But soon after leaving the military, each of these veterans fell on hard times and faced homelessness. Even after Michelle lost all her savings, even after Chris wasn't able to pay his mortgage, and even after Richard battled alcoholism for years, they each reached out for help when they needed it most. A simple phone call put them in touch with a trained professional from the Department of Veterans Affairs. That call got Michelle a place to stay until she could afford one of her own, put Chris in touch with employment assistance, and found Richard a substance abuse program.